Right. Hello, everybody. All right. So this is what I always have to deal with, and this is part of. It's just funny how I struggle with, this videos, but that just goes, that's precisely my point. The reason I started this series. So welcome back, folks. This is I'm gonna be just recording the next three episodes here, and they're gonna be very brief episodes. Okay, so the way we're gonna do it is each episode I'm gonna record is gonna be less than between maybe six-ish or less to 10 minutes the most. All right, and after I record them. I will then, if you give me a feedback in terms of which ones you've enjoyed the most, I can do other videos, longer videos, focusing on them. But let's just dive right in. So the first episode we're gonna start with is episode number 2, and this right here is just the overview of everything, like episodes 2 to 4. But first, before we continue, some shout outs. This, I just I wanna just give a shout out to and all these folks. By the way, these are not paid sponsors. These are just folks that like. Code for Philly is whom I work with. I'm a volunteer with Code for Philly, and it's part of a larger organization. Code for America is like a group of organizations around the country, around the United States, where software developers and project managers and UX, UI designers and other folks get together to just kind of help solve problems in our society. And in particular, the group that I'm with is Flask. Flask, just do check it out. The spelling is this right here. So folks that live in Philly, hopefully in the future we're gonna expand to other cities. But in the meantime, we are based in Philly, and so this is the spelling of the word. So for you to find the app and to use it, for you to find water. So like if you go out there and you're walking, you're biking, right now we're in the summer, or any time regardless, you need water, you need a bathroom, right? Because a lot of establishments just don't allow you to use their bathrooms, right? So and we've also added sites for foraging. So it's like there's like public parks where there's trees that have fruit in them, and and you can go pick some fruit and eat it. All right. So flask.me. All right. So just the URL is flask PHLASK.me. Go on there and just use it for your in terms of finding water, bathrooms, foraging. And finally, my buddy Tony Kent Cheze, who is with Magic 100. So he gave me the details, and unfortunately, Tony, you're gonna forgive me because I just don't. I know it's well the frequency in Kampala. This is a radio station in Kampala, Uganda. Magic 100 frequency is 100 FM, I suppose. But you know what? Those of y'all that want to, because part of the whole point of this series, the Long Live People series, and that you can learn anything. I'm pointing out the fact that there's so much technology out here that we can use. So if you Google this, there's a bunch of sites where you can listen to radio stations from all around the world. Anyway, in any case, shout out to Tony Kencheze who's helping promote this series. Thank you so much, my good friend. All right, so let's continue. So first episode we're doing, and this is it's gonna again, like I said, these are brief episodes. Episode number 2 is the title is It's Okay Not to Know, all right, and problem solving in the digital and Web3 world. Now, it's okay not to know, but I need to just kind of add a caveat to this, right? It's okay not to know as long as as long as you're willing to admit that you do not know and you're willing to learn. Okay, so the world we live in nowadays, you gotta have a smartphone. Like simple phones are really just not enough for us to function anymore. We use computers, and many times you just, for whatever reason, your smartphone doesn't matter if you have a Galaxy, like a Toshiba, or rather, excuse me, um, oh my God, Samsung, right, or an iPhone, which is what I have, right, and then this right here, I'm using a Mac. But it doesn't matter what you're using, a PC, Mac, inevitably sooner or later you'll run into problems. For whatever reason, you're trying to send a text, it's not going through. The software has slowed down. It's taking you forever to like do whatever it is you're trying to do. You're trying to write a paper. You're trying to browse the web, go to a different site here and there, and it's not working. Okay, so this is, the world we live in. The point here, the point of this episode is we're gonna have to be forced to just learn to troubleshoot in this world that we're in. All right, with in the digital world that we're in at the moment. So, for instance, one thing this just happened to me the other day, right? I'm on my phone. I was just, I don't know, doing whatever. Like I think I was trying to check. Email was the issue that was like giving me the most problems, right? And the phone was so slow. My email was not coming. Was just not like uploading, right? And I'm like, what in the world? Now, from prior experience, I've noticed these patterns, and so I knew to kind of, so to speak, to diagnose the issue. I suspected that, you know what, it is an issue of what do you call it, of software, because what Apple does, and I'm not sure. I'm guessing Galaxy, my Android, I think, does the same thing, which is Galaxy and other phones. They send out email updates. Now, luckily on this Mac, I can actually show you. We can go to the settings, and you can see what kind of like in terms of the software updates. I can click on this tab right here. As a matter of fact, I know for sure that this Mac is due for a software update. Okay, and I've been putting it off. But so this is just one example of a way you can troubleshoot. Okay, the other thing is those of us that well, regardless of, usually if you work with a firm, right, you call up a buddy of yours and you're having issues with your computer, they'll ask you this question: have you tried restarting it? For whatever reason, restarting machines, just digital machines, it clears their RAM. It just it helps them just start over, and like, so whatever, like, bugs that they were experiencing just tend to clear up once we start them up. You start from a clean slate, and again, RAM, and other just processing, all the processes that like have been running, where usually it's just it gets overloaded, and so, and then, or there's a bug because maybe you're running two programs at the same time, that where they finally do something, that affects the OS, the operating software. Okay, so restarting it solves that. And then the other thing is, this right here is very, this it's gonna be a running theme in this series. Google is something, nowadays we now have Chat GPT, we have generative AI, but over the years I've noticed that my students don't seem to know how to use Google, right? And yet Google, all you have to, like, a lot of things, issues that we run into, Googling it just gives you the answer. All right. So that's another way in terms of troubleshooting that we have to, like, it's just, we don't have a choice in this world now, in the world of digital media and AI and web 3.0. We, Googling, searching, looking things up online, not just Google. Now we have ChatGPT, is very impressive. I mean, I can show you, some of the queries that I've run with it. So let me just let it load here, and then we go to. I have it in this tab right here, and again, and then this is Chrome is what I use, and these are my bookmarks. And so when you go here, ChatGPT, voila, okay, and it gives you, it's so impressive. And just to give you some examples of like what I've, some things, like, look what I did. I've One of the queries I've told it, I said, help me compose a poem about not giving up, and voila, this is what it did. Or another one I did is, let's see. This is, all right. It's a random question I asked. I said, "Why are the trees turning orange already?" And then it gives you like a sophisticated answer that basically, has to do with science, etc., etc. And just maybe one last more, or just one more trig. So those of you like, and it can be very helpful when you're in school and you're trying to look up like things like this for homework. But one thing I have to mention here: do not cheat. Do not use ChatGPT to help you write your paper. Your professor can and more than likely will probably catch you doing because we do have tools. The organization that I believe it's called OpenAI, it's right there in the URL. Actually, they've put out tools that can help us catch plagiarism, and there's many other tools out there that can help us detect whether or not this paper was written by a human or by generative AI. So just a warning that I have to give you all. All right, and then social media, like another way to kind of just kind of solve problems and deal with this increasingly complex world is set your own boundaries, right? Be firm about in terms of, because with social media, for instance, I'm not on Facebook. I was at one point, but I did not see the point. I mean, yeah, there's I do know the value. I know the value of Facebook. It helps us catch up with long lost friends. It helps us. It's just I know at first it's Instagram. I know what it's for, right? But these are things that for me it's like you gotta don't be forced to do things that, like, if it's not you, right, then you don't have to do it. Don't be forced to do it just because your friends are doing it. Okay, set your own boundaries. And the other thing to be aware of is, you know, iPhones, for instance. Let's just go. And both Samsung, like the Galaxy, and iPhones, they do this, right? Um, I know. I have a friend of mine who, believe it or not, is still using like an iPhone, one of the very earliest ones, right? And the way he's able to do it is like he keeps it like in terms of data storage. He doesn't keep like a bunch of pictures on there or a bunch of apps. He's still using like a which one is it? Because like right now the one I have, for instance, I have the 11, right? And I believe he has like the I swear, I'm not making this up. Is it is it the 3 or the 4? One of those very very early ones, and it still works just fine, right? So beware of like, because this company is, this is, I mean, yeah, like these gadgets are cool. The memory keeps getting better and better because of Moore's law, right? Like the chips keep getting more and more efficient. But don't, again, this is kind of like similar to the previous point here, and I'm going to put this in blue just to highlight it. Don't, just because a new gadget is out, just because a new iPhone is out, doesn't mean you have to have it. Okay. All right, so we're almost done with this episode here, and let's just go. And then, so conclusion, but at the same time, you need to have, you gotta strike a balance, right? Be pragmatic. I mean, I know of a mentor of mine, one of my professors from grad school. For the longest time, he had refused to get a cell phone, and this is back in 2012, 2013. He didn't have a cell phone. He had a phone at home, but usually, I mean, inevitably he would. He often run into problems when you're in the road. Your car will break down, right? We don't have. At one point, we used to have car. We had those like I love in Seinfeld how you see they have those phones in the car, right? Like it's just like that was a thing back then, right? Like having you have a phone at home, and then something in the car. If it's like you're rich or you can afford it, there are these car phones. You gotta be pragmatic. Don't be a dinosaur. I'm just demonstrating the picture here of a dinosaur clearly. All right. And the other thing is you gotta be willing to learn. Like another thing that kind of ties in with this point is be willing to learn. Okay. And so this might seem abrupt, but this episode is ending right here. The next episode, episode 3 of the Long Live People series, Long Live People slash You Can Learn Anything. We're gonna be looking at how do you learn. So how do you learn? We're saying that you know what, you can learn anything. Okay, that's what part of the point I'm making is how do we survive in this Web 3.0 Chat GPT world. And the other point is that you can learn anything, but how do you do that? All right, so please stay tuned. I'm gonna go ahead and post that episode immediately, actually. So please be sure to catch it if you've enjoyed this one and you're curious about what that episode is about. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.